It's hoping that you're so final.
I want
Bring sandwich to the concert.
Jimmy, isn't that weird that it came up that way? I'm gonna go.
All right, we got 7 o'clock.
I'm ready.
Ryan, good to go? Good. Good evening and welcome to the August 15th, 2023 meeting of the Roseland Governing Body. Adequate notice this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, and that the date, time, and location of the meeting were included in the annual meeting schedule, posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building, and filed in the office of the Borough Clerk. Notice of the earlier start time of executive session was sent to the official newspapers, posted on the borough's website, and posted on the public bulletin board. For those attending tonight's meeting via Zoom, the agenda and any other relevant documents can be found on the borough's website, attached to the meeting notice posted in the news and announcement section. During the meeting, an announcement made prior to the 2 public comment periods. Anyone wishing to make a public comment via computer will be instructed to use the raise your hand icon, and anyone wishing to make a public comment via telephone will be instructed to dial *9 at the appropriate time. For those in attendance in person or remotely, please provide your name and address when selected. Mr. Watkins, do you please call the roll?
Mayor Spango.
Present.
Mr. Barty.
Here.
Mrs. Fishman. Mr. Frieda. Mrs. Parati.
Here.
Mrs. Tolley.
Here.
Mr. Trillo.
Here.
Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the agenda, we have our first round of public comment. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please state your name and address for the record. If you're with us via Zoom, use the raise your hand icon, and if you're with us telephonically, please press *1. Seeing and hearing none, we have no presentations this evening. First, we have introduction of ordinance 2023. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title.
The ordinance of the Borough of Roseland to repeal ordinance number 13-2023 entitled an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 14 of the revised general ordinance of the Borough of Roseland entitled Parks and Recreation, adding new section 14-5 entitled Use of Pickleball Courts, and to repeal ordinance number 16-2023 entitled an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 14 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Parks and Recreation, amending section 14-5 entitled Use of Pickleball Courts.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 20-23?
So moved.
Second.
Parati. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Ordinance number 20-2023 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 21-2023. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
Establishing a new chapter 19, section 22, public utilities construction and pole installation and replacement.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 21-2023?
So moved. Second.
Parati, Toley, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none.
Ordinance number 21-2023 will be posted on the borough's website. Public notice of public hearing will be published in the progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023.
Ordinance 22-2023 is being pulled from the agenda this evening. So next on the agenda is ordinance 23-2023. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Roseland entitled Department of Administration, amending subsection 2-34 entitled Recreation Coordinator, and adding new subsection 2-36 entitled Recreation Coordinator.
Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 23-2023?
So moved.
Second.
Totally Barty. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Ordinance number 23-2023 will be posted on the borough's website. Notice of public hearing will be published in the Progress. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023.
Thank you. Before we move on with the next two ordinances, the first ordinance, 2023, there should be a little bit of elaboration. Councilman Barty, if you could elaborate.
This one's just a repeal, though. I'm not reading nothing.
But explain the reasoning behind it.
So this was we're looking at I'm revising some of the rules. There was some challenges with the pickleball courts being used. So we met with the pickleball committee. There's some recommendations on some new rules to ease some of the playing times, especially where it's hazardous. People having chairs on the courts, other things that are not And in addition, we're also doing there'll be a $10. So we the fee structure, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we have for the fees right now, it's for non-residents, we're putting in a $200 fee. For residents, there's going to be will be a $10 fee. That's we passed out in this fee schedule at the last meeting.
But
We're
we're
repealing it.
rescinding
We're
it, so
rescinding
there's
it.
Yeah, that's the repeal. Okay, yeah.
There'll be no more,
Zero.
there's no
No more
fees
fee.
Yeah.
right
For
now.
residents.
Okay. I'm confused there.
And there's another one about the telephone poles. Councilman Barty, you called me about that. If you could explain that one to people understand.
Sure. Right now, PSE&G are putting in new telephone poles, but what they have to do is once they put the pole in, they put it next to the existing pole, and then Verizon comes in and they have to move their stuff. Well, a few residents had called and said, well, when are they taking out the other pole? Unbeknownst to me, we had no ordinance that would have the utility come to remove that pole. We wanted a short-term time frame for them to remove the pole. So what we did is we found an ordinance. We read it. I thought the 90 days to get rid of the pole once the work was done was
Opposed to how many years?
they could take 10 years to remove the pole.
The pole.
So I personally wouldn't want two poles on my property. No joke, I do have a pole, but I wouldn't want two poles on my property. So we're putting this ordinance in effect in order to make sure those second poles, old poles, are removed in due time, in a short period of time, which is 90 days.
Councilman Tully, I'm sorry, you had your hand.
Oh, no, I was.
Okay.
I'm just looking. So I had somebody tell me that Verizon was there the other day. How long should she start her 90 days?
So just explaining, removing the
Oh.
fee to sorry.
No, I have a question. Who did the repairs when they were doing some construction on Eagle Rock Avenue, like the main center of town? Did the public service pay for
That was
the?
that was a guess.
That was
that was
the
it.
line. So they should continue paving all the way up,
Yeah, okay.
all the way up by Palander.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 19-2023. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland to repeal ordinance number 12-2023 as amended, which provided for salaries and compensation to be paid to non-union employees of the Borough of Roseland, and substitute therefore salaries and compensation for the year 2023.
Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none. Does anyone wish to be heard on ordinance 19-2023? Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make the motion.
Second. Foley, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Watkins, please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance of the Borough of Roseland to repeal ordinance number 12-2023 as amended, which provided for salaries and compensation to be paid to non-union employees of the Borough of Roseland, and substitute therefore salaries and compensation for the year 2023.
Do we have a motion to adopt ordinance 19-2023?
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Barty, roll call vote, please, Mr. Watkins.
Barty,
Yes.
Parati,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Trillo,
Yes.
ordinance number 19-2023 will be advertised in the Progress as a passed ordinance and shall take effect as provided by law.
Next on the agenda is the approval of bills. Resolution 248, 2023. Everyone received the bill list for questions, concerns, recusals. If there are none, do we have a motion to approve the bill list?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Tolly Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Next, we have resolutions 1 through 20 by agenda number or by resolution number, 249-2023 through 268-2023. I'd like to move them in their entirety. If there's any questions, concerns, comments.
Ryan, the screen is blank. There you go.
If no questions, concerns, comments, we have a motion to adopt these resolutions.
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Tolly, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. I'm sure, Gene, you're going to talk about Brett at some point. Okay, but we have a representative today from Metro West Ambulance Service who's here with us. And the resolution 20, we're entering into agreement with them, and they've been very, very helpful in assisting the borough in offering additional EMS services. And all they ask is that we fill their tank for when they have to respond to calls. So I wanted to acknowledge that you're here. I know Councilwoman Parati and Councilwoman Fishman were integral in this, but it just gives us another layer of support. People are in need at their worst times, and we love our first aid squad, but there's certain times with their numbers dwindling that they can't be there for us, but Metro West has, and I know a tank of gas is a lot more than it used to be, but it's beneficial that we're here, and we thank you for your efforts and your commitment to volunteerism and helping our residents.
Actually, I saw them on an accident on Eagle Rock Avenue by the Exxon station, and they responded to the call in Roseland, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're here. So, I mean, it was, yeah.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Next, we have our consent agenda items 1 through 5. Questions, concerns, recusals from the consent agenda? If we have none, do we have a motion to approve the consent?
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Tolly, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Mayor's report, 2 things. Great concert last week. Entire parking lot from pickleball and tennis was packed. Probably the best attended concert we have. I'm sure Councilman Tolly will go over what we have upcoming, but thank you everyone for coming. It was a great night. Another piece of news, September 5th, 5 p.m., we'll be having our groundbreaking for O'Byrne Field, which is right before our caucus meeting. It's going to be a simple few minutes, but we're going to break ground, and that complex is slated to be ready for spring of 2024. Besides that, I have nothing. Committee reports, Finance Administration, Councilman Barty.
Thank you, Mayor. Hope everyone's having a nice summer. The only update I have is that the final tax bills went out. We did receive our final numbers from the state, from the county, and from the school systems. And the good news is that altogether, taxes on the average house in Roseland went down $100 this year. So that's always welcome news. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Barty. Public Works, Councilman Frieda isn't with us. Councilman Tolly or Parati, anything to add?
No.
Public Safety, Councilwoman Parati.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to welcome Brett Bockenheimer, who is now a firefighter with the Roseland Volunteer Fire Department. We want to welcome him. I love seeing people volunteering for the fire department and EMS. So I want to thank him for actually putting in his application and doing it.
And he's a legacy.
Yes, his dad, I thought I was going to say the last name wrong, but that's why I took my time. His dad is also on the fire department. It's been there for, oh my God, I can't even, maybe 25 years?
His father was my teacher in high school.
Councilman Barty's team.
My teacher in high school.
Really?
We know the place.
He responds all the time.
I'm my
so.
soccer coach too.
Oh, really? The Roseland Fire Department attended the concert in July. They also, unfortunately, had to attend 2 firefighters' wakes. One was for a funeral for Newark firefighter Augusto Acabuo. I hope I'm saying that right. And another Newark firefighter, Wayne Brooks Jr. We thank them for their service, their lifetime service. As far as the police department, I want to make the residents aware that PSE&G is going to begin a project within the next 2 weeks. It's going to start at the Caldwell Essex Fells line on Harrison Avenue. It's going to go to Eagle Rock Avenue and then to South Livingston Avenue. So if there is traffic, I'm sure Maureen's going to send out notification. But PSE&G is putting these underground vaults that have fiber optics, and they're upgrading their system so that when a storm comes and the electricity goes out, there's a backup. So I believe the start date was in the next 2 weeks, maybe 2 Mondays. So I just want the residents to be aware that it's upgrading to our electrical system in town so that we don't have issues when we have storms. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Recreation, Councilman Chillo.
All right. Yeah, just a couple quick announcements following up on the summer concerts. We have next week on the 23rd, the History of Rock and Roll and Super Trans Am, Friday, September 8th. They start at 7, and there will be food trucks. We're also still accepting registrations for the 5K run walk for Roseland, as well as the Junior Olympics, which are scheduled for Saturday, September 23rd. Everything will be running out of Bond Force, I believe, since the new project at O'Bairn will be underway. Otherwise, soccer is set to get started the week of August 21st, and we'll be creative about our field selection and where kids are playing. You might see some kids playing in some stranger places than you're used to, but there are resources in town that we're ready to use to facilitate soccer and cross-country going on in the fall. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Chillo. Redevelopment Legal, Councilman Fishman coming with us. Councilman Chillo, Councilman Barty, anything to
No, nothing to add.
No.
add? Community outreach, and shared services, Councilman Mattola.
Thank you, Mayor. As many residents may or may not know, Roseland does have some shared services. We share our health department with East Hanover. We share our building inspections and street cleaning with Borough. And we share animal control with West Orange. Pretty soon, we will be sharing dispatching services with West Caldwell, which will allow us to have more our own police on the street. That should be starting soon. That has been approved. We have 3 openings on the Environmental Commission. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, September 14th at 7 p.m. at the Roseland Library. If anyone is interested, on our website, there is a citizen information form which you can fill out. As far as the concerts, Council President Trillo already mentioned next week, August 23rd, Wednesday, we have the History of Rock and Roll at 7 p.m. And then on Friday, September 8th, we have Super Trans Am also at 7 p.m. The Roseland Junior Women's Club is having their fundraising event, Make Your Own Sunday, on Wednesday, September 27th at the Roseland Fire Department. Roseland First Aid Squad, their community room. It will be held from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Cost is $5 per person. 3 years old and under are free. Now you can come and cool down, make your own sundae with a lot of toppings. I know it was pretty good success last year. Plus, you'll have a chance to win a summer prize. Proceeds will benefit the Emmanuel Cancer Children's Foundation for pediatric cancer patients ages 0 through 18 years and other 501c3 organizations. Many of you out there may remember Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. Well, the Roseland Senior Society is having a trip to the PNC Arts Center on Tuesday, September 12th, but it will just be Tony Orlando. There is no more Dawn. It's a free concert, and you can sign up at the Recreation Department.
Or is it my house?
Yeah, Tony Orlando and Dawn. I remember them. Okay. Our Lady Blessed Sacrament Church, they have a group called the Social Concerns Ministry, and they're collecting new backpacks for children that are in need. You can drop off a brand new backpack at their office through the week. And that's all I have. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else for committee report? Hearing seeing no one. Next, we have the approval of minutes of our July 18th caucus and July 18th executive session minutes with Councilman Frida and Trillo recusing themselves. Everyone received those minutes?
Yes.
There's no questions, concerns, or recusals. We have a motion to approve the minutes. Excuse me.
So moved.
Second.
Parati, Barty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Next on the agenda, we have our second round of public comment. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, come forward, state your name and address for the record. If you're with us by Zoom, use the raise your hand icon. And if you're with us telephonically, press star 9. Hearing and seeing none, there is no need for us to have an additional executive session. All that's left on the agenda is for adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Barty, Toley, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your summer.